Thank you, Steph. We have new details on the new sexual assault charges against a former Boy Scout assistant chaplain.
James Glawson was arraigned yesterday. New tonight, we're hearing the details about how far these allegations date back and how many alleged victims there are.
Eyewitness News reporter Kate Walsh has been pouring through the court documents. She joins us live at the ACI where Glawson is being held tonight. Kate?
Well, Mike and Shannon, Glawson has been held here at the ACI since his arrest back on February 14th. He was initially charged with 3 counts of sexual assault, and then yesterday there were an added 9 felony charges on top of that. So today I got a copy of these court documents that give us some insight into these allegations. At least 4 alleged victims of 74-year-old James Glawson have now come forward making disturbing allegations against the former Boy Scouts camp assistant chaplain. Glawson was arraigned on 9 new felony charges Wednesday during his status hearing in Washington County District Court. 8 of those first-degree sexual assault against victims listed as Victim 2, Victim 3, and Victim 5. The 9th count, a charge of possession of child pornography. According to court documents, the alleged abuse dates back to October 1st of 1981. This is an audio recording provided to us by District Court of state police reading their facts at Glawson's arraignment.
Multiple persons had either made contact or were contacted by Island State Police who identified themselves as victims of Mr. James Glawson. All of these persons described being brought to Mr. Glawson's home in Exeter, where he forced them to have sexual interactions by means of sexual penetration. All of these victims were identified as ranging from the ages of 10 to 16 years old, all with connections to the Rhode Island Boy Scouts.
The Narragansett Council of the Boy Scouts of America released a statement in reaction to the new charges, saying in part, quote, "These behaviors are appalling and completely unacceptable. The safety and protection of children in our scouting programs continues to be our top priority," end quote. CEO Tim McCandless went on to say that many years ago they adopted several safeguards to protect children, including policies prohibiting one-on-one situations between leaders and children. Now, I mentioned there were at least 4 alleged victims in this case, but only talked about the 3 in these court documents today. That's because the 4th alleged victim was the 18-year-old man that was part of the initial arraignment of James Glawson back on February 14th. New at 6 o'clock tonight, we look into why the court proceedings could possibly be held back a bit. Live in Cranston tonight, I'm Kate Walsh, Eyewitness News.
New details at 6 from court documents we obtained about the new charges against James Glawson, the former Boy Scout volunteer, now facing multiple counts of sexual assault.
The new charges against Glawson were breaking last night at 5, and new tonight we're learning there could be holdups in court proceedings.
Eyewitness News reporter Kate Walsh joins us live from Cranston with what she's learned. Kate?
Well, Mike and Shannon, we're live outside the ACI where James Glawson has been held without bail since his arrest on February 14th. He's had several status hearings in court, but the judge says she's hesitant to hold a bail hearing because he still does not have a lawyer. The court said he doesn't qualify for a public defender due to his property and his monthly income. New court documents provide insight into the allegations against 74-year-old James Glawson of Exeter, the former Boy Scouts camp assistant chaplain, now charged with a total of 11 counts of first-degree sexual assault, 1 count of second-degree sexual assault, and 1 count of possession of child pornography. Glawson was initially arraigned on 3 charges, allegedly involving an 18-year-old man with mental disabilities. On March 6th, court documents show he was arraigned on the 8 other sexual assault charges involving 3 other victims. State police say these allegations date back to October 1st of 1981. This is an audio recording of Glawson's 2nd arraignment provided by District Court.
Multiple persons had either made contact or were contacted by the Rhode Island State Police who identified themselves as victims of Mr. James Glawson. All of these persons described being brought to Mr. Glawson's home in Exeter, where he forced them to have sexual interactions. All of these victims were identified as ranging from the ages of 10 to 16 years old, all with connections to the Rhode Island Boy Scouts.
The Narragansett Council of the Boy Scouts of America has been cooperating with the investigation since the beginning, saying Scout safety is always the top priority. Glawson is due back in court for another status hearing on March 13th, with the judge urging him to hire a lawyer by that date. Live in Cranston tonight, I'm Kate Walsh, Eyewitness News.